You may have recently seen my video on Rollercoaster Tycoon staff. As part of that, I attempted to beat Forest Frontiers without using any staff. I played it through twice, once just as normal without making any accommodations for the fact I had no staff. And then when that failed, I tried again, this time with workarounds, so I thought I'd put those two attempts into a video to show you how I got on and if it really is possible to beat even the easiest scenario without employing any staff. First off, I wanted to play like normal and see what impact a lack of staff would have. So I placed a couple of static rides and a pre-built Mango Muncher Junior coaster to get the park open and operating for guests. This is pretty much what I did last time I played Forest Frontiers for real. I then added a custom built wooden coaster, nothing too big, but still a big ticket ride to attract plenty of guests and get the income flooding in. Here's the test ride. I then added a Ferris wheel and pirate ship to take me to 2 gentle, 2 thrill and 2 roller coasters. Once the looping coaster became available from research, I built a decent sized ride with the classic track through the vertical loop from the top of the lift hill, and here's the test of that one. The low nausea rating should help with my lack of staff situation, but that wasn't intentional. My park rating is high, but starting to drop off slightly. However, the number of guests in my park is already at the 250 target and still climbing. Guests are starting to comment though on my paths, and it's only May. I'll play through quickly now and you'll see the number of guests feeling sick climbs, as does those complaining about the paths. And the park rating is beginning to plummet. Lock Flume has become available from research, so I weaved one around the looping coaster, which helped me get to around 5.5 excitement. While I was building that, I had a couple of ride breakdowns which weren't getting resolved because of the lack of mechanics. That looping coaster really didn't last very long at all without any inspections. The park rating has now dived below the required 600. This is not looking good. Guests are getting hungry and need places to eat, which I will provide, but I know it's going to create a litter problem. I am allowed trash cans though, so let's hope they are used. Before the scenario ended, I added an observation tower and a maze, but ultimately I failed the goal. I had enough guests, but my park rating was heading to rock bottom. I also had guests stuck on broken down rides. I'd won the most untidy park award and in total had 5 rides broken down. That's before I even mention those disgusting paths. So that was predictably a failure. But could I do it if I actually tried to accommodate the lack of staff? So I'm thinking low nausea rides, perhaps a few rides which don't break down. It's only a 1-year scenario, so even rides that can break down are perhaps less likely to. So I started again and focused research away from roller coasters. Before opening, I added a spiral slide, a gentle merry-go-round, steam train and a small lake to place a rowing boat ride on. I then built my own junior roller coaster, trying to ensure it scored low on nausea rating. Finally, a Ferris wheel next to the lake. By keeping the park closed for the first month, it gave the rides a little less time in which to break down and guests a little less time in which to feel sick or want food which would become litter. Before opening, I added another gentle ride, Roadworks from the car ride build menu, and then got my rides tested and opened. That gave me the stats for the junior coaster, 3.65 on nausea, but without a coaster I'm worried I won't hit a good park rating or attract enough guests. Haunted House has become available, so I added one of those as well. As with my earlier attempt, I added a log flume when it became available and then a maze. I replaced my broken down spiral slide with a new one and did the same with my vomit covered exit path from the junior coaster. Guests are starting to complain of being hungry, so I'll have to give them a burger stand. You'll see I've gone heavy on litter bins, hoping they won't all get full by the end of the year. I'm into October and my park rating is holding up. Rides are breaking down and the rating is starting to drop, but it did hold above 600 by the end of the month, so the scenario is complete. So that attempt worked and I was able to beat Forest Frontiers without staff. I wonder how that would work over a 3-year scenario goal though. Maybe I'll load up Leafy Lake and find out.